Okay, I'm live. I'm waiting for the sky falling down. He wants to do a debate with me about the guy that slashed the baby Trump balloon. He won't do it in the way that I normally do, which is I use Google Hangouts or Skype. So he's claiming that I could link him live from on here. So we'll see if he comes on. I apologize to all of you that maybe wanted to watch. This is just someone who's been insulting me, calling me tubby. He is confused as what the First Amendment means. He claims he posted about 20 times on different YouTube's videos of mine that I backed out from a debate from him. That's not true. At 6 o'clock, around there, he said that he wanted to do a live debate with me at 11 o'clock. He then backed out and said no, he'd only do it via chat. And then once it was obvious that he backed down, he decided to come on about 20 of my, or I guess 6 or 7 of my videos and post about 20 times all sorts of things about physical appearance and whatnot, about how I'm a coward. Here I am, I don't see him, so we'll give this a little while. This is just all, at this point, a formality. I knew he would back down. He'll claim he had some sort of technical difficulties and that he somehow won. I told him from the get-go when we discussed doing this that he would need a Gmail account and that I would use it through Google Hangouts. He didn't have a problem with that at the time. He only changed his mind when he decided to back out. So here I am. I'm waiting for him to show up in the live chat. I'm posting on the website I'm on that we were communicating on that I'm here. And he's not responding. If anyone else can see me, could you please just type something? Just to make sure that if he was on here, I would be able to see. So, hey, how's it going, Carlos? No, I don't need anyone to pop on. This was just someone who's been calling me out all day. Yeah, the sound might be a little weird because I wasn't prepared to do a live stream. I'm kind of at work, so I don't have my normal microphone. I could try something here. Let me know if this sounds any better this way. Can you guys hear me better now? Okay, hopefully the sound's alright now. Does it still sound the same as it did a minute ago? Okay, let me try something. Hopefully this is better. You guys can let me know if this sounds better. Yeah, so I guess since he's not going to show up, I'll wait a little and then I'll probably just head out. I guess I could talk a little bit about what this debate was about. So for those of you who didn't hear, there was this guy, his name was Hoyt, he slashed a big baby Trump balloon, and I'm someone who's against any kind of political violence or destruction of someone's property in the name of politics. I think most people... Oh, no sound now? Holy cow. Let me see what's going on. Check, 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 check. Still no sound? This is ridiculous. Check, 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 check. Check. Okay. I'm sorry, I am ill prepared for this. This wasn't a video I was planning on doing because I'm at work. Anyways, the debate was this. I think most of us could agree that it's bad to destroy someone's personal property because you don't think that you appreciate their protest. This would. I don't care if you're on the left or the right. It's bad when you see people on the left rip off MAGA hats. It's bad when you see people on the right do things. Yeah, I know the time is way behind. Um, but regardless, you shouldn't do that. So I thought this person was wrong for slashing this balloon. Anyways, this particular person, Jesus. Check, 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 check. Check, check, check. Check, 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 check. Check, check, check. Hopefully this sounds better. I don't know. You'll just have to let me know. Anyways, I think we could all agree that you shouldn't engage in that sort of destruction of people's personal property because you don't agree with them politically. This particular person who decided to come on my channel and call me fat and say that I couldn't come up with a coherent thought because of the weight blocking blood to my head or something, which, by the way, I don't mind personal insults or weight insults and things like that. It'd just be nice if they were actually funny, which oftentimes you don't see. Anyways, he is so confident that he's right. He claims he's never lost a debate. Anyone who discusses things with him is personally attacking him. He's a victim. It takes many people ganging up. The fact that every single person, regardless if they were on the left or right, uh, disagreed with him was merely proof that we all had to team up to argue against him. So I'm for giving people a fair shot and was for leaving him come on and discuss this with me, which is totally fine. Despite the insults and everything, that's fine. His point seems to be something to this. The First Amendment says that you have a right to be heard. If you say that you don't feel that Hoyt had the right or had the right to be listened to, then you're violating his First Amendment rights. I wasn't rude to this person. I just said, no, 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 you're misreading the First Amendment. No one has the right to be heard. No one has the right to listen to anyone. You just have the right to speak. In fact, the First Amendment is specifically about the government not being able to infringe on your right to speech. It has nothing to do with whether some person, wherever, has the right to listen to you or if you have the right to be heard. That's just not true. It has nothing to do with it. This person took that debate to go on for almost 2 days now, me participating off and on, to say that that's absurd. If you say that you don't want to listen to this person, it'd be the same as saying that you took away the rights of the people that were in the Boston Tea Party, and that because of the Boston Tea Party, that proves that anyone that breaks a crime or that commits a crime or breaks the law for their political beliefs has the right to be listened to. He was repeatedly told that there is no such right. No one, myself included, remotely said anything to the level of people don't have a right to listen to Hoyt. Of course they do. Anyone who chooses to hear from him has the right to do so. But let's see. Here he is responding. I said, yeah, call me Tubby. Makes you real smart. He says, it makes me accurate. There are a lot of easy ways to do this, but I'm scared. He says, click on this link. Okay, I'll click on it, see what he's doing. And the link is just a link to his troll forum that he put up. Yeah, he refuses to do a debate with me. So if you're on here and you're from that particular website, which I won't mention the name of it, though I have in the past, let it be known that I tried to give him a fair shake and try to leave him on here. He chose not to join, is what happened. So there's 9 people on here. I would assume at least some of you are from ATS and you saw the thread that was being mentioned. I'm on here. He could join the live chat right now. He could use Google Hangouts. I know he has the account. He won't accept the invite to the video. He could Skype me. I offered to do this. Yeah, I know I shouldn't have clicked on the link, but I offered to do this in a number of ways. He chose not to. Now, what this shows is I don't know that this person is just a legitimate troll. It's probably even worse than that, because I think the problem is this person has some sort of narcissistic complex. They literally believe the fact that people are quite literally pointing out obvious fallacies in their points, or what they're saying, that this somehow is more proof that they're right. And you see this oftentimes. I saw this on college campuses a lot, where you would show people like, no, you can't just call people Nazis without proof and then say you should be allowed to punch them. Here's specific evidence that the person you're calling a Nazi is not a Nazi. They've condemned Nazi. It doesn't matter. They'll say, that's further proof. And you see this occurring over and over again. That's the type of thing that I'm seeing here. The person admitted 3 times, or at least twice, to having to change their position. And so when they ultimately said, yeah, I'm not saying, after 6 hours of argument, oh no, I'm not saying anyone has a right to be heard. I'm just saying they have a right to speak. You're like, yeah, that's what the First Amendment says. That's what we've all been saying. Oh, so you agree with me, so I'm right and you're wrong. It doesn't even make sense. And you see this sort of thing happening. I just wanted to give the person a fair shake, despite this, and try to give them an opportunity to kind of come on here. I would have gave them their fair say and allowed them on video to say what they thought their point was. It would have been just me and them. They could have made their comments without feeling ganged up upon, but you can see that's not the case. This person has decided to not join in. So, I guess, since I'm on here, I might as well talk about kind of another argumentation style that I see occurring, and that is, look, there are probably people on here right now that disagree with me about support of Trump, or even think that Trump should be impeached. Let me just make it quite clear. That's fine by me. I have no problem with people that disagree with me. I just ask for people to be consistent. I know I'm not perfect either. I get it. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It is Smollett syndrome. I know I'm not perfect either, but it is worth talking about this point. I talk about this often. Some of my best friends are people that hate Trump. They think I'm terrible. It was a terrible decision for me to vote for them. But at least they're honest people. So, for example, if you're the type of person who says, I think that it's illegitimate for a political candidate to seek dirt on their opponent from a foreign source, that's fine as long as you apply that equally. If you say, so therefore Trump should be punished in some way or held accountable for that. But I think it was okay for Hillary's team to do that. To me, that's just argumentation that I just don't have the time of day for. I've seen someone recently make a comment, for example, that under no circumstance, even if it's a mission from God, is any president or any executive authority allowed to withhold congressionally approved foreign aid to another country for a favor. Period. Even if it's a mission from God. Okay. I disagree with that. I think quid pro quos happen all the time. They should only be illegitimate if they're directly for personal favors that are illicit. But fine, if you just think that all quid pro quos should be illegal from the executive branch, that's fine. So I just say, okay, well, clearly Biden used a quid pro quo, like he admitted to it. Oh, that was fine. The Biden quid pro quo is fine because he's a good person and he was doing it to achieve a reasonable mission. To me, that's illegitimate. If your stance was, yeah, I agree, Biden's quid pro quo should be investigated, which there are people that don't like Trump that have made that comment to me. Sure, investigate Biden. And now, my point is, if there's reason to investigate Biden, then there's no cause for impeaching Trump. If it's legitimate that we have an investigation of Joe Biden, then you can't say, oh, but Trump should be impeached because he wanted to pursue that legitimate investigation. If that's the case, then you're really just saying it's impeachable or it's against the law or it's somehow what's the word I'm looking for? It's somehow unethical and abuse of power for a sitting president to ask foreign governments, even without a quid pro quo, to cooperate with investigations into other political people. We know that that's what Obama did. Like, he had his agencies, his intel agencies, his FBI communicate with Italy, communicate with Australia, communicate with the UK, communicate with a spy from the UK named Christopher Steele, take evidence from his dossier that was sourced by Kremlin officials. And no one said that Obama didn't have the right to ask foreign governments, hey, were there Trump associates? Can you cooperate and let us know if there were Trump associates committing crimes, possibly conspiring with Russia in your country? That's fine. Obama had every right to do that. The problem is with how it went about, such as spying on people connected to Trump's campaign, using unverified opposition paid for research. And yeah, you're right, Carlos. What Biden did wasn't even a quid pro quo. It was absolute extortion. One of the defenses I see about Biden, which is utterly hilarious to me, is, oh, Biden lied. Come on. When Biden said that he was the reason that Chokin got fired, that was a lie. Yet at the same time, we can't investigate Biden because, Biden's just an honest guy, and he told the truth when he said it had nothing to do with his son. That literally has nothing to do, or those two points don't jive at all. On one hand, well, we can't even trust Biden's own admission because he's a liar. But on the other hand, we have to look and see, take him at his word when it comes to other things. I'm checking just one more time to make sure this guy's not going to come on. Yeah, okay. So that's where I'm at with that. Look, the important thing is, what's up, SJG? The important thing, and I've done a video on this, that I would like to get across about the whole impeachment thing is, I think that I recently saw on ATS a link someone put of the 4 talking points that Republicans came out with that they're going to use to defend Trump. And I think these talking points are weak. It's basically just things like defensive things. And that's the problem with the Republicans on a whole. They constantly are playing defense. They never play offense when it comes to this thing. If you give me a second, I'll pull up the 4 points that people are talking about. Here's the 4 that was listed to me. This is apparently what the Republicans are going to say. 1, the July 25th call summary, the best evidence of the conversation, shows no conditionality evidence of pressure. That's true. Yeah, Grim, falling down did chicken out, as I assumed he would. That is true, and that is a good point to make. The transcript, we could see the transcript. We know that it's legitimate. Even Vindman, who's the star witness that heard the phone call, says that the transcript's true. The only thing he quibbled about was, at one point, Zelensky says the company, and Vindman says, actually, he said Burisma, not the company. Okay, that doesn't... And he also admits that edit wasn't made maliciously. So Vindman, the star witness, is admitting that the transcript is legitimate. That means it doesn't matter who comes in and says, well, this is my feelings about the transcript. It's irrelevant. We can all see the transcript for ourselves. And we saw this when it came to the Mueller report. The Democrats and the media spent weeks talking about how they were incessantly enraged that Bill Barr misrepresented the Mueller report. All the while they're making those arguments, we can see the Mueller report for ourselves. The ship has sailed. We can see it for ourselves, but instead of saying, here's what the Mueller report says and why I think it's damning, they're just saying, oh, Barr misrepresented. Who cares? Within 2 weeks, he released it for the public to see, which was almost unprecedented. That type of thing never happens. It was well within Barr's rights to say, no one was charged, Trump and people weren't charged, so we're not going to release the Mueller report. They don't have the right to see, there's no right for the people to see evidence that a prosecution gathered and then decided to not prosecute. Isn't that what the Democrats said anyways when it came to James Comey? They said the problem was he had no right to go off and talk about all the shady stuff he found out about Hillary Clinton because he decided not to prosecute. And it's not the job of prosecutors to say, well, we aren't charging, but here's all the evidence we dug up for anyways. Yeah, it was supposed to be a debate, SJG. A crazy person was supposed to debate me, but he chickened out as I knew he would. But anyways, so that is a good point. That is a really good point that the Republicans are making that we should hammer home. It doesn't matter. You could bring in all sorts of people, particularly people that didn't hear the phone call, but even those that did, we see the transcript. Even the people testifying against Trump admit, yes, the transcript's basically accurate. There's no, all of it, and Vindman admitted in his testimony, as did Hill. Everyone's admitted, as did Sondland. Trump specifically told Sondland, this is not a quid pro quo. I'm not saying that we will only give this aid or have a meeting if they do this investigation. Sondland testified that's what Trump specifically told him. It's just all these people say, well, in our opinion, we thought that he meant a quid pro quo. Well, your opinion is no more relevant than my opinion, because we both have access to the same information, the transcript. So that was number one. The second defense they have is both President Zelensky and Trump have publicly said there was no extortion, there was no pressure. Also a reasonable argument to make. The third argument was the Ukrainian government was not aware that the U.S. assistant delayed at the time of the July 25th phone call. Also a decent argument. The reason this is important, people will say, well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they were aware because they found out weeks later that actually was the case. But the point is, if you read the transcript carefully, it wasn't Trump that started talking about things like Giuliani. It was actually Zelensky that brought it up. And if Zelensky had no idea at the time of the phone call that there was a quid pro quo, then that means that he didn't feel pressured when he said, yes, we are going to investigate Biden and the firing of Shokin. Yes, we are going to investigate CrowdStrike and Ukrainian interference in the 2016 election. That's all true. So it doesn't, even if there was a quid pro quo, Zelensky made his comments saying that, yes, he would start an investigation before he thought there was a quid pro quo. That's what the argument is here. It doesn't matter even if later, which again, there's no proof whatsoever of a quid pro quo, but it doesn't matter even if later Zelensky found out, oh, aid's being withheld. Because he made all those promises under the auspices that aid wasn't being withheld. The fourth thing they say is the United States provided, that basically the aid was given. Okay, that's a reasonable argument. But all four of these arguments miss the mark completely. Here's the real argument, and I've done a video on this, but I guess now that I have a captive audience, I'll explain a little. It doesn't matter if it was a quid pro quo. There's no evidence it was. None. Okay, I think I'm back on. Sorry I lost everyone. I don't know if anyone's still here, but sorry if I lost anyone. Something's crapping out my internet. But all of those reasons are irrelevant. So what I was saying is all the four reasons I gave you, these are all defensive reasons. The truth is, even if we assume there was a quid pro quo, and that's what all the testimony from Hill and Sondland and them have been trying to get to, that it was somehow a quid pro quo. That only gets us to the point of what we know Biden did and Obama did. A quid pro quo, as all the Democrats and the media have admitted, isn't necessarily evidence of a crime on its own. Else, Obama and Biden would be under investigation. But clearly they're not. And so what we see is all of this testimony, Sondland, Hill, Vindman, it's all trying to say, yes, we feel there was a quid pro quo. It doesn't matter. You still need to prove that Trump's motivations were improper. If Trump had a reason to investigate Joe Biden, then his motivations were not improper. It's that simple. Period. And so what we see is the most important defense of Trump. It has nothing to do with arguing, well, the transcript, or, well, the aid was actually given. Those are reasonable arguments, but they're defensive points. Why is it that the Democrats are, in fact, pushing this impeachment inquiry? Because they know that they're in trouble. They know that the Durham report and the I.G. Horowitz report is going to come out and show evidence of crimes that they committed. They know that Trump was over the mark when he was looking at China and the Ukraine and corruption that was going on from the Obama administration there. That's where Republicans should be putting their effort. If there was a reason to investigate Biden, then Trump did nothing wrong, and there's no case for his impeachment. Period. Now, here's the argument. Anytime an executive branch official uses large sums of U.S. tax dollar money in order to fire a prosecutor or force the firing of a prosecutor who happens to be looking in to one of their family members' company, there should be an investigation. Period. It's that simple. I don't care if they're Republican or Democrat, and for those of you who saw my video, this is kind of a rehashing of that. But it is a point that I don't see anyone making. Even the Republicans aren't listing this. It is the biggest point that could be made on this. Because what it does is it proves it's an offensive point. It proves that this is about stopping an investigation. They keep talking about Trump obstructing justice. This is actually obstruction of justice of the Democrats. Remember, Democrats claim that Trump just talking about wanting Mueller to be gone was obstruction of justice. Because talking about wanting the people who investigated you to be removed is in fact obstruction of justice. By that definition, that's what the Democrats are doing. They're trying to stop Trump and the DOJ and the Ukrainian officials from not being able to investigate the crimes of the Obama administration. It's that simple. It doesn't matter. Now you might say, but wait a minute, Rob. A bunch of people in the EU said it was that Shokin was guilty or that he was corrupt, so it was okay for Biden to do this. That is irrelevant. Our system doesn't work like that. It doesn't matter if everyone in the world, in different countries, every person that's in charge of parliament, or is a president, or a king, or whatever, of every other country around the world says, yeah, we didn't mind Biden and Obama using taxpayer money to fire Shokin because we didn't like Shokin. That is not how our system works. Period. If we have executive branch officials using your tax money to force the firing of a prosecutor looking into their family's business, that's reason to investigate, period. If Biden was honest, he would say, yes, I agree. If this was Trump and he forced the firing of a prosecutor looking at Don Jr.'s companies, that a company Don Jr. was on the board of directors, you're damn right I would demand an investigation. I wouldn't care what Boris Johnson said in the UK. I wouldn't care what Merkel said. I wouldn't care what people in the media like Rush Limbaugh or Sean Hannity said. And they'd be right to say that. If Trump did that, I would also demand an investigation into him. Because that's one, misuse of me and your tax dollars potentially. And second, it is a quid pro quo, or it is extortion that could potentially benefit you personally. So I don't care that a bunch of people said that was good. I don't care the absurd defense that, well, in reality, Shokin wasn't looking at Burisma. He wasn't looking at Biden's company hard enough. So actually, Biden and Obama wanted a prosecutor that would look at Hunter Biden's company harder. That's nonsense. That doesn't pass the smell test. On paper, Obama and Joe Biden should have had no clue whatsoever what was going on into the investigation of Hunter Biden's son's company, or Hunter Biden's company. If they did, if they were getting fed information from inside the prosecutor's office that was controlling that investigation, then that's unethical in its own part. All they knew was, on paper, Shokin was the prosecutor that was in charge. Period. They chose to get Shokin removed, and then it got pushed to the NABU. The NABU was an organization that Obama helped finance and fund and create. It was created as part of the agreement in order to receive aid from the United States. Basically, the Obama administration, when Poroshenko, the former president of the Ukraine, took over, said, okay, here's a bunch of things you have to do before we'll help you. You need to start a task force that's in charge of ending corruption. That's the NABU. And a bunch of other things. Well, this NABU, it's been alleged, was burying cases for the Obama administration over and over. Anytime that there was a Democratic donor that was in some sort of legal trouble in Ukraine, turned out that the Obama administration, through their State Department, would pressure the NABU and say, hey, bury this case. And it happened often. And by the way, the NABU is also the agency that interfered in our 2016 election. They admitted it, along with a politician named Lyshenko. They interfered in our election by releasing a black ledger that had dirt about Paul Manafort, dirt that may not have even been true. But they worked actively working with a member of the DNC named Alexandra Chalupa to interfere in our election. They admitted it. And the reason was they didn't like Trump because they thought he was a pro-Putin, that his policies would have made him closer to Putin, and that would be bad for Ukraine. So they admitted to interfering in our election because they didn't like the policies of Donald Trump. And they interfered to help Hillary Clinton. We can get to that later, but that's the same agency, the NABU. So that agency that was that allied with Obama finally gets the investigation into Burisma, into Hunter Biden's company, into Zlochevsky. Now remember, we're told the official defense from the media and the Democrats are, look, it was okay for Biden to fire or want this guy fired. It was okay for the Obama administration to want Shokin fired. And the reason is a bunch of other countries wanted it, and because Shokin was doing a crappy job. And Biden and Obama were upset that the corrupt oligarch that owned Hunter Biden's company, his name was Zlochevsky, they were upset that a corrupt oligarch like him, who had connections to the pro-Putin President Yanukovych, was still walking free because they knew he was corrupt. Okay, so even if we, up until this point, let's say I believe every part of the Biden, Obama, Democrats, and media story. Biden really wanted his son's company investigated harder. The guy that the prosecutor he wanted fired in part because he wasn't investigating this company and its owner Zlochevsky hard enough. It's ridiculous, but okay, let's take that at face value. And that's what the IMF said, and that's what people in the EU said. Okay. So finally, the investigation gets kicked. We know that Zlochevsky is corrupt. Barack Obama and Biden and the EU and the IMF all told us that. We know that the holdup, the reason he wasn't being charged was supposedly this corrupt prosecutor. They get the prosecutor fired. It now goes to an agency that is so allied with Obama that they're actually interfering in the 2016 election to help the Democrats. So now there's no excuse, right? If Zlochevsky's corrupt and they got the exact agency that's their ally that they know they can trust, they have that agency now investigating that case, prosecuting that case. No excuses, right? The end of the story must be Zlochevsky's prosecuted. He's held accountable for being a corrupt oligarch, right? That must have been what happened. Oh no, the opposite happened. Almost immediately when the NABU got this case, they decided to leave Zlochevsky go with a slap on the wrist. Now, at this point, if the IMF, if the EU, if Obama and Biden, all the people that we're told wanted Shokin out of there because he was corrupt and wasn't going after corrupt oligarchs, if at this point in 2017, when their allies, the NABU, buried the case into Zlochevsky, had those groups came out and said, whoa, this is outrageous. We gave this $1 billion under the auspices that corruption would be ended and people like Zlochevsky would finally face justice. And now we're dismayed to see that actually that this is what's going on. That this Zlochevsky investigation has been dumped. Had they said that, perhaps I would have believed them. But that's not what they said. Instead, it was crickets. All of the people that said, you can't give $1 billion to a corrupt country that allows corrupt oligarchs like Zlochevsky to run free. All of a sudden, Biden and Obama and the IMF and the EU, they didn't say a word. Now, how can that be? Now, you could talk about, and this is what you see coming from a lot of the Democrats that are supporting impeachment. They say, we don't need proof of Trump's motivations. We know that he's shady. Or the mere fact that this could have benefited him because it could have been evidence against Biden is proof enough that we need an investigation. Yet at the same time, they say, well, it's been debunked that Biden didn't do this to benefit himself. All right. This guy's finally calling me on Hangout, so give me a second. We'll see if I can debate him. Give me a second. I have to bring up the proper screen. Can you hear me? Hello. Can you hear me? Just so you all know, he's on Hangouts right now. He's not responding. So this is just more of his games. He's being a troll. So until he responds to me, I'm just going to keep talking and doing my video. The Hangout video's up. He can respond if he feels like. Turn it up. I can barely hear you. Okay, well then we won't do the video. No, I did not admit you were right. Here, 1 second. We got an audience. I'll put you up here. Just give me a second. Turn up your volume a little. Go ahead, talk.
Did you hang up on me?
No, I'm right here. 1 second, I'm bringing you up live.
Bring it up.
Okay, I'll get it, bud.
Come on, now. You're claiming you did admit I was right and you weren't trolling me for 30 pages?
Can you all hear him? 1 second, you can say whatever you want. Just let me make sure they can hear us.
Not to mention that you were scared to meet me on any other type of forum and you had to bring me here. You're a pussy, dude. Like I said, that goatee's kind of cool. Does your boyfriend think it's pussy when you're bobbing up and down? Come on, fat boy, say something.
I'm just trying to leave everyone get a good hear for your incredible argumentation here.
Well, you think I care about what anybody has to say?
Yes, I do. You constantly said that you've been ganged up against. You have dyslexia. Everyone's out to get you. You never lose an argument. You're upset that no one agreed with you because you do care what people have to say.
I saw your
because
picture.
You're very much, you're very much someone. You're a perpetual victim. I get it. You can't argue actual points, so you have to make insults. You have to claim that people are out to get you. They're ganging up because you have no ability to make actual arguments, and that's okay. I get it. You are a victim. When someone doesn't have the intellectual capacity to deal with an intelligent argument like that I'm offering, it does make you feel like you just have to claim to be a victim. I get it. And you need to say that everyone's getting up. You can't use facts and logic. I get it. So you have to make jokes about weight and things like that. That's fine too. But if I was at your intellectual level, I would use anything I could to try to make fun of other people as well. Because you literally can't make a point. Now, I brought you on here to try to be able to make some kind of legitimate argument, but instead you come on, you say fat boy, you accuse me of being a homosexual, like that's some kind of insult. I really don't care. And then you say, oh, but I'm not bothered by people, and you were afraid to go to my troll forum and talk to me. Well, you're on here live now, and you're not making any of the points that you claimed you wanted to make. You're just a troll. That's what you are. So go ahead, make your great point. Let's hear it. Let's hear what you got.
Are you envious of Michael Moore?
No, I'm not. That has nothing to do with anything you said. Once more, you prove that you're just a troll, and you have no arguments whatsoever. And for those of you who can't hear, I will. If you can't hear him, I can't be sure if you guys can hear him or not. So I'll just translate some of the stuff he's saying here. He wants to know if I'm envious of Michael Moore. That's one of his big points. No, I'm not. Okay, go ahead. Look, I'll translate your next comment.
I've got you triggered.
No, I'm not triggered at all. I think it's hilarious. One of my great joys in life is for people that think that they're so arrogant and so intelligent when they don't even have a base knowledge of the things that they're talking about. And so when they're finally confronted with actual facts, they feel that there's nothing they can do but hurl insults. And then they say that they're triggered because, oh my God, you made fun of my dyslexia. And, oh my God, everyone had to gang up on me. And I've been talking online for 20 years and no one's ever been able to defeat me in an argument. It's total nonsense. Your point is ridiculous. You can't even make your point here. You can't even make the argument you were trying to make here because you know it's so nonsensical that you'll be laughed away.
Dude,
you know it. So you're just talking about Michael Moore and saying that I'm gay and things like that and saying that I'm somehow triggered. I'm not. I'm having a blast. There's nothing that brings me more pleasure than outing incredibly dumb people like you. Go ahead. We'll give you another chance to speak.
Settle down, sunshine.
He says, settle down, sunshine. Okay. Now, do you want to actually discuss the topic or do you want to just throw insults?
We already discussed the topic. On page 1, I said anybody has their right to be heard regardless of whether they broke a law.
Okay, he says, for those of you who can't...
was, when I said heard, nobody has a right to be heard.
That's right.
It was so stupid. You were playing word games.
That's not word games.
In the end,
what was your point again?
I was right.
You just said, I said on page 1 that even if someone breaks the law, they have a right to be heard.
Son. Settle down. Speak slowly.
This is how I speak. Get used to it, I guess. I'm sorry if it's triggering you. Now, you just admitted on page 1, you said that even if people break the law, they have a right to be heard, right? That's what you said.
No, I said it was a matter of expression. You capitalized on the right to be heard and played word games that nobody has the right to be heard.
Okay.
It was some
So
shit. You were so
I still don't understand. Okay. You're admitting people don't
So
have the right to be heard.
you're saying that if somebody violates the law, like
Okay.
Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King, the union leaders in the 20s or 30s, as long as they violate the law, they're not allowed to be heard?
No, I never said that. No one did.
Yes, you did.
No, I
when
didn't.
You
I said
games with the
over.
word
I'll bring up the
heard.
post right now if you want. I can put them on
It
the
was
board. I
pathetic.
said no.
You-
In fact I said no with like 10 O's at the end of it with
It was
exclamation
probably
points.
for
No,
low
I
blood
never said.
sugar.
Pull it up right now. Pull up where I said it. Go ahead, quote me. Oh, you can't? Because
you're
I said
gonna
no
repeat that.
specifically?
Get rattling. I couldn't hear it.
I said pull up on ATS right now where you're claiming I said.
Dude, settle down and speak slowly.
If
You're
you can't
ranting.
I'm sorry. Am I victimizing you again? I'm so sorry. Let me speak slow and to your speed so that you can keep up with me intellectually.
Well,
Don't
actually,
act like that you're
oh,
somehow
see,
making some reasonable point when you come on and
Right.
call me gay and say that it's some sort of insult and then call me fat and then liken me to Michael Moore and then you say,
You
hey,
are
dude,
fat.
hey,
You
dude,
deny
I'm
that
just
too?
trying to have a sensible conversation. You're not. So I'll speak at the speed I want. If you can't keep up, it's just further proof that you can't keep up. That's fine.
Yeah, you're
We knew
winning
that.
this one, buddy.
But I'm sorry, that was a good point. I don't think you're in a position to be laughing other than if you think it's
I
hilarious
told you
that you
what was
sound.
coming. You didn't believe me. I said a full-on assault. I was going to exploit every weakness you had, and I was going to trigger you, then back off, then trigger you again.
I'm not
I
triggered
told
at all. You haven't done anything. I'm
you.
having a
What do
blast
you
because
think
you look like such an idiot. That it's hilarious to me.
How do you know what I look like?
What?
I see you. You're a fat
Go ahead.
plug of us with a receding hairline,
Right.
and a trailer.
I'm not in a trailer. I am fat. I do have a receding
Sure
hairline.
you.
I don't
Yeah.
care at all.
But
You said here. Let's say you said. So is it your opinion or position that if someone breaks a law in the process of expressing their self or giving their opinion, their position, opinion, expression shouldn't be acknowledged by anyone, even the people that consider it a right to hear their position? That was your
you
comment.
agreed.
I
You
said.
agreed.
I
You
said.
remember that?
I said. You ready? I said. I've answered this question several times. I said no. You came at me and utterly crushed like all the. Oh, never mind.
Dude, settle down. Back away from the mic or something. It's all distorted.
I'm sorry that you're triggered. I'm sorry that I'm hurting your feelings. It's okay.
I'm
It's okay.
triggered.
It's okay. Hey, you'll be okay. You'll be okay. I told you over and over.
You're the one spazzing out, and I'm triggered. Wow.
Yes.
You're carry a
Have you
lot of
watched my
weight.
videos? I think I talk like this all the time.
Well, you always spaz out into the microphone.
That's not spazzing out. It's me talking like I talk. I'm not the one who feels it
Sure
necessary
it
to
isn't
question your sexuality or question how you look. Of course, you're not even brave enough to put your face on the camera, so but that's fine. I'm not talking about your receding hairline. I'm not childish like that. I don't care. I am talking about your lack of basic comprehension skills and lack of intellect because you're unable to defend your position. Now, you asked me quite clearly, do I think that him breaking the law means that he doesn't have, that people that want to listen to him don't have the
You're
right to
fucking
listen to him? No,
hilarious.
I never said that. No one ever said
Dude.
that. We
Now,
said
back to my
repeatedly.
position. Did you agree with me or not?
No, I didn't agree with you. You agreed with me. You tried to, and then you went right
didn't
back
agree
to say,
with me.
right. Let me tell you how this works. Let's
You're
talk.
saying you
So if
didn't
I
agree.
say,
Anybody
if
that
I
breaks
say
the
the Patriots are the best football
They're-
team in existence, and
shouldn't
you say
be-
no, it's the Steelers, and then at the end of the argument you say, well, I think the Patriots are the best football team, and I say, okay, so you agree with me now? You go, no, you agree with me. I win. That's what you did. You made comments the whole time that said, "Oh, you're."
Settle
First, you said
down,
that people that said
dude.
that
You're hyperventilating or
I'm
something.
not hyperventilating. I'm breathing
Settle
just
down.
fine.
Speak slowly and clearly.
Oh, I'm sorry. Again, you don't have listening comprehension. I'm sorry. Let me slow down a little for you. I said repeatedly, as did everyone else,
man,
that no one was saying, when you said
trying to
people were
help you
saying that
before
people
a
that
vein
wanted to
burst
listen to him
your
didn't have a right to, no one said that. We never said that. We said that anyone who wants to listen to him
So
should
no
be
one
allowed
said
to
that.
listen to him.
Must mean
That's
you
what we
agreed
said.
with.
That is not agreeing with you. You saying that his First Amendment
Sure
rights
you
were
did.
being
You said
violated
no one
is
said that.
wrong. You are wrong. You still can't defend. Tell me
Your
how his First Amendment
position
rights were
is
violated. Tell me how his First Amendment
they
rights were violated.
committed a
Tell me how his
they
First
committed
Amendment rights were violated.
material, whatever, when he popped a fucking balloon.
Right.
I brought it at the Boston Tea Party of vandalism when they threw the fucking tea over the ship.
Okay.
And according to you, their opinion shouldn't have mattered either. Nobody should have listened to them.
How many times do I have
My
to
point
tell you
was,
I
shut up.
never said
Shut up.
that? Never once did I say that
Talk.
his
Let me
opinion
talk.
shouldn't matter. I never said that. Not
Let me
once. No
talk.
one said that. You're. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Let me, sunshine. The point is, it doesn't matter whether you commit a crime or not. Sometimes your voice speaks over the crime. I gave you examples of Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King. They all got arrested for breaking a law. It doesn't matter which law it was, but their voice ended up benefiting the whole country.
Okay.
For some reason, you feel like somebody popping a balloon doesn't matter.
That's right. It doesn't matter. To me, I never once said that people aren't allowed to listen to him, which is what you constantly claim that me and others said. Not one person made that claim. Not one person made that claim. No one made that claim.
Now you're playing word games.
No,
again.
I'm not. You keep saying you said that people that want to listen to him don't have the right to listen to him. Show me once where I said it. Show me once where I said that.
My main point was that if a law is broken, it doesn't deny the person's actions.
No one said it did.
But you're going to say, here's your big point in the whole thread. Oh, he doesn't have the right to be heard.
Right.
Some people have to listen then.
Right.
It's fucking ridiculous. You're a silly piece of fucking shit to even jump on that fucking narrative.
It's not
you were defeated.
Okay. You had your chance. It's not jumping on a narrative. You said his First Amendment rights were violated. No
your
one
big
once
point.
said.
Whoa! Wait a minute, sunshine. My turn.
You just had like 10 minutes. Go.
Was your main point that at any time during our discussion was your main point that no one has a right to be heard? That would imply people have to listen.
Yes.
Was that your main point or not?
That was a point I made. Yes.
Yes, and that's ridiculous. That's stupid. That's completely out of desperation. You knew the intent of my original post, but you played games because
the intent of your post was you said several times that his First Amendment rights had been violated. Can you explain to me how his First Amendment rights were violated?
Never said his First Amendment rights were violated.
Okay.
It might have been meant out of context during our conversation.
You're right. You never said it, so I won't be able to bring it up. I won't be able to bring it up.
Immediately when you asked me, I admitted that fact.
You literally have just been talking to another poster on here saying
but
they
you
claim to be a
constant.
Excuse me, it's my turn to talk. You literally have just been talking to another poster on here saying that you call yourself a constitutionalist, but you're for the violations of his constitutional rights.
Back off from the mic.
Shut up! I can talk where I want. Sunshine.
What a told you I was going to trigger you.
I know I'm triggering you because you think that I talk a little too fast for your understanding comprehension. I know I got to remind myself to dumb myself down for you. I get it. Go ahead. Did you say that did you tell a user just recently that they claim to be a constitutionalist, but that they are for violating this person's constitutional rights? Did you say that just like in the past hour?
Sure, I did. Did you go back to the first page and read it?
What constitutional rights of
Go
his were
back. I
violated?
even asked him the same question I asked you. I said, if someone breaks a law, does that mean his position shouldn't be acknowledged, even by people that want to hear it?
And
he couldn't
every
admit
single
it.
person said no.
Dead fucking honest.
Every single person
basically
said. Now,
what
I
you're
just
saying
want the
is
audience to
Rosa
understand what just
Parks
happened. You
shouldn't have
literally,
had
in
her
a 40
voice
second
because she
period,
broke
said,
a law.
I never said his First
Settle
Amendment rights
down.
were violated. You said in a
Back
40 second period,
Talk
I never
slower.
said his First
Dude,
Amendment rights
you're
were
so
violated.
easy to
Then,
trigger.
okay, I said it, but I
Settle down.
apologized and said that's not what I meant. Then,
Speak
yes,
slower.
after that, I said his constitutional rights were violated. Now, you keep saying things like that.
I
First
didn't hear a
Amendment rights,
word you said.
that's because you won't
quote
shut your mouth. Of course.
Corey Lewandowski, all I heard was a rant. Can you back off and speak slower by any chance?
If you stop speaking while I'm
triggered
speaking,
you
you'll
so
be
bad.
able to hear me. I said, I just want you to know that you literally just said, in a span of 2 minutes, you said, I never said his First Amendment rights were violated. Then you changed it and said, well, okay, I said that, but I quickly backed off it. Then you said, but yes, then after that, I did say that his constitutional rights were violated.
The point you missed was, yes, I said that out of context during an exchange 3-on-1 with you and your groupies. But
I don't have groupies. Those people are actually
I
people that
admitted,
don't like Trump.
wait a minute, Sunshine, wait a minute. The minute you brought it up, I admitted I was wrong with that statement.
Okay, 1 second. Did you then
bit
have
of
to
honesty from you
God.
or any of your cohorts, the whole thread?
You literally just said that after that, you literally are you listening? Are you listening? I gave you
okay.
Okay, listen. You literally just said. You said.
Did I admit I was wrong about that?
You just no, because then you said after.
Did I admit I was wrong about saying his constitutional rights were violated? Yes or no? It only takes one word.
No, you didn't. You said you just told another user after you said you were wrong that user was for the violation of his constitutional rights.
Settle down, man.
Stop telling me to settle down. I understand that you can't keep up.
I hope you're
hooked
up to like.
No wonder you didn't want to do a video. You have to what? You have to like type real slow and read real slow. You said his First Amendment rights were violated. Then you said, okay, I was wrong to say that. Then you said after that, his constitutional rights were violated.
You said it right there. I admitted that wasn't right.
And then you reneged on that again and said his constitutional rights were violated.
Are you that desperate? No, his rights weren't violated.
Okay.
I admit it.
Okay, so I hope people from the thread are listening because you literally just said, let's go back to some of the things you said here. Here we go. This is what you said at 11:57 p.m. Let's see what you said. Let's hear what you said here at we'll bring it up.
How am I coming in with you? Is my microphone coming over fairly well?
Yeah, I hear you.
You're fucked up, man. I can't hear half of what you're saying. Is there anything you can do on your end?
Here you are at 11:13 saying you call yourself a constitutionalist, but you know that you're wrong. It sounded
like somebody was screaming into the microphone.
I'm not screaming into the microphone. Everyone, there were 10 people listening to me before you came on. They didn't have a problem hearing with you. So it has to be a problem with your...
My end's fine.
Despite your stance as a true constitutionalist and want to preserve rights, it only matters sometimes. F you, poser. I exposed you to the constitutionalist frauds you are. You made that comment at 11:22 p.m. Now, that was well after you said I was wrong to say that his First Amendment rights were violated. And I don't know if you understand. Right, so then you went on to say...
You should try it sometime.
When you say I'm wrong, and then you go back to the position you just admitted was wrong, it's still wrong. You don't get to have both positions. You don't get to say his rights were violated and his rights weren't violated. And because I admitted I was wrong, I can now say his rights were violated or they weren't. That's not how argumentation works.
Right. Now we're here arguing about it still. It's some funny shit.
It is funny. It is funny, but not for the reasons you think. It's funny because You're the exact kind of person, regardless of what your political beliefs are, right or left, that doesn't matter. You're the exact kind of
Actually,
person
you
that makes
believe
it
most
near
of the time.
impossible to have civil
I
discussions
just
with people
hurt your
because
feelings.
you resort to things like insults. You assume that you're right, even when it's quite obvious that everyone
Hey,
knows that
I
you're wrong,
told you
even when
before
you
we
can
joined
point
the
to
channel
actually like
what
the
I was going to do to
Constitution.
you,
Then you say,
and I'm
yes, I
doing
admit
it.
I was wrong, but now you agree with me, so therefore that means I'm right. And then after you admit you're wrong and say, no, his rights weren't violated, you immediately go back to saying, and yes, his
Man,
rights were
settle
violated.
down. Back
No,
off
if you
the
don't
mic,
like it,
man. I
if you don't
can't
like it,
hear
you're free
you.
to leave. This is how I talk. I'm not going to change for you. I know
Jesus
you're triggered. I know you're a
Christ, you're
special
triggered.
victim. I know
Nobody's
that
made
everyone's
this, and
ganging
I've
up
been
on
doing
you.
it
I
for 20
understand all
years.
that. I get it, right? But you're just going to have to suck it up and deal with it or hit the road. Okay.
Okay, wait, what? My turn. I'll speak
Okay.
slowly so everybody can hear it.
Uh-huh.
Your big beef is giving personal insults that make you mad. My beef is that you knew I was right on page 1. You agreed to it later,
No, I
but you
didn't.
couldn't
Show me where I
admit
agreed you were
you
right.
played fucking word games, and you and the other people trolled.
Show
The
me where
funny
I
part
agreed you were
is,
right.
I
Show
stood
me
up
where I
against
agreed you were
you
right
all,
with what you
and
said on
still
page 1.
am against the wall, and you got nowhere.
Show me where I agreed you were right with
the
what you said on
exception
page
of
1.
me backing you into a corner and making you admit I was right.
Show me where that happened.
Come on, you're undefeated here. Your turn. Speak slowly in
Show me
the microphone.
the floor is yours. Show me where I admitted you were right on page 1. Show me.
Jesus Christ, you're still yelling. Can you talk in a normal voice?
This is my normal
Or
voice.
have I hurt
Show me where
so
you were
badly?
right. Show me where I said you were right on page 1.
Sure, I was. I
Show
said
me
he was.
where I said you were right on page 1.
I compared it to the Boston Tea Party. They were expressing themselves. Both of them broke the law. Both of them deserved to be heard. You couldn't stand that. It was probably because I was arguing with DC about it, and you guys are a bunch of groupies.
I'm not a groupie. I don't. In fact, me and DC. In fact, if you went to another thread, one of DC's best friends and me were just into it yesterday, all day, arguing with each other. The other posters that were on that thread with us, all of them are people that dislike Trump, that are constantly on every
we'll make
thread
this easy.
telling me
I
that I'm
was
wrong.
wrong. You hate DC. I got you.
I didn't say that, did I?
I was wrong when I assumed that. Again, honesty.
Oh my God, you're so good. This is so good. I love it. It's like a psychology experiment. Like just going in the craziest person's head that thinks they're so smart.
Down.
You can't even keep up with normal speed of conversation. So you admit on page 1, you've already admitted like 5 times. On page 1, you said his First Amendment right was being violated. Then you say, despite I've been quite clear that no, that's not the case. His First Amendment right wasn't violated. You say that I ultimately agreed with what you said on page 1, which clearly I didn't. That's what the whole argument is about. But then you say, because you admitted that his First Amendment rights wasn't violated, and we say, yeah, that's what we told you. You said, aha, see, you agree with me, so I'm right.
Dude, I couldn't understand any of that.
I understand you can't. That's the whole point. Right.
Try not to trigger you anymore.
No, I'm not triggered. Do you hear that laughing? That's not triggered. That's me having a blast. It's me having a blast because you're outing. You're so much better than you are when you're typing. It's so much better to hear your voice and to hear just how crazy you are. It's fantastic. I'm really enjoying
let's
myself.
Go back to the main point. Did you agree that they should be heard? They should be acknowledged. I don't want to say heard because you'll play word games. Do you agree? Regardless of breaking the law, people sometimes need to be acknowledged.
I don't understand what need to be acknowledgments. If people want to acknowledge them, regardless, listen. I'm trying to make my stance clear. If people want to acknowledge someone, regardless if they broke the law or not, they have every right to acknowledge them. Absolutely.
Rosa Parks broke the law.
Sure.
Many people looked badly upon it. Do you think she should not have been acknowledged?
No. Okay.
I've got you stuck in a corner and you can't admit it.
No, yes. I'm not stuck in a corner because none of this has to do with the point of Do we have to acknowledge them? No, we don't. We could choose not to acknowledge them. It's all your personal preference. Sometimes when people break the laws historically, we could say that was a time when injustice was so great that they should have broke the law because the law was itself being unjust to them. I don't think that clouding someone's personal property of baby balloon of Trump applies. That's just my opinion. But regardless, it's not.
Settle down, dude. Back away from the mic.
I'm not whatsoever heated at all. Not at all.
I heard my turn. I heard you say it's up to someone's personal preference.
Yes.
That's my fucking point, dumbass.
No, it's not. Your point on page 1 that it was a violation of his rights if that people didn't acknowledge him. That's absurd. Then you said, okay, that's not the case, but he still should be acknowledged, and that if there were still people that were trying to stop that. No one tried to stop that whatsoever. Not one person on that entire thread said, if people want to listen to Hoyt, they shouldn't be allowed. Not one person. No one even came close to saying that. And you kept saying, you acted as if that's what we're saying. All we were saying was your point that somehow he had a right to be heard or his rights were being violated if we didn't acknowledge his statement was wrong.
Are you done yet?
Sure.
You said whether somebody can acknowledge it is up to their personal preference.
Right.
That's my point.
Okay, then you changed and clarified your point. That's not my fault.
Whoa. I said, are you done yet? Let me finish my statement.
You're right. I'm sorry about that. Go.
You, in your own words, said it's up to someone's personal preference. That's my point. You don't have to acknowledge their position, but people that will acknowledge their position do. Just like Rosa Parks, they had the Jim Crow laws going on there. It was an evil fucking time. When she didn't give her seat up to the white man on the bus, many people hated her for it, just like you're doing now. But many people admired her for it. That's the point I'm trying to make. Hoyt popped the balloon. You guys act like it's a fucking capital offense. No. Some people admire it. Some people don't. That's why he has the right to be acknowledged for his actions.
He does not have a right to be acknowledged for his actions. There is no
You
such
just
right.
said it.
No, I didn't. I said if people want to listen to him, they can. They have that right. He does not have the right to be acknowledged. He does not.
It's the same damn thing.
No, it's not. It's not the same thing.
Why not?
You repeatedly said that people in that thread violated his rights. Repeatedly.
I never said they violated his rights.
Yes,
I
you
mentioned
did.
it out of context in exchange with you guys.
You specifically said that someone said that his point was null and void.
My point is, are you calling me a liar? My point is that he has the right to be acknowledged by people that want to acknowledge his right. People didn't want to acknowledge Rosa Parks' rights.
He does not have the right to be acknowledged.
But they did. There's no fucking difference. You're a fucking
Yes, there is a difference. You have the right to free speech. You do not have the right to be acknowledged. There is a difference. Saying that people have the right to listen to you is different than saying you have the right to be listened to. It is different.
Now you're back to word games. Someone has the right to be listened to. That's fucking ridiculous.
You're the one who started off saying that his rights were being violated.
Shut up.
Don't tell me to shut up.
If someone wants to listen to someone, do they have the right to listen to them?
Yes.
There we go.
Why do you use the term right if
you might not approve? You might not approve of Hoyt's action, but some people do.
Okay.
And he made a statement, like Rosa Parks did.
It has nothing to do with what, it's not even remotely similar. So let me ask you this then.
The criminal action does not nullify the statement.
Okay, so
it's as simple.
So if a serial killer wants to make a statement, his criminal action. So you're saying that Rosa Parks and a serial killer both did the same thing. They both committed crimes in the effort of getting their statement across. That's your argument?
Explain that again slowly.
If a serial killer wants to get a statement out, you're saying that that's the equivalent of Rosa Parks. It's the same thing. Both of them broke the law in an effort to get their statement out.
So stabbing a balloon equates to a serial killer.
No,
Man, you're
so
getting
stabbing a balloon equates to Rosa Parks. You can't even understand how your own argument. So your point is it's ridiculous to say stabbing a balloon's like killing someone, but it's a very sensible comparison to say it's like the Boston Tea
Tell
Party
you what,
or Rosa Parks.
if Rosa Parks killed someone, I would agree with you.
What?
Your turn.
If Rosa Parks killed someone, you'd agree with me.
I did like hearing you laugh last time.
I do. I have a great laugh. I'm a very happy person. Everyone mistakenly thinks because I like arguing that I'm a miserable person. I'm not. I talk fast. I have a blast.
I don't know why you argue when you aren't very good at it.
I'm fantastic at it. I'm objectively fantastic at it. I've done so collegiately and was one of the best players in the country. And I made you look utterly foolish both on that thread and here. You can't even keep up with me. I'm not even someone who likes to brag. There are people that I've met that have no college experience that have made me look bad. You just are uniquely bad at this.
Talking about murderers, if I was a spree killer and you were in the room, I like you. I'd kill you last.
Thank you. That's very nice. It almost fits in with the rest of your fantastic argumentation. The point is,
it's a joke.
Your point.
That
no one. The problem with your entire position on that thread is you were arguing against a straw man that no one remotely made. Everyone was repeatedly saying, "No, anyone who wants to listen to him has the right."
Straw. It's your original position.
It wasn't. You just admitted
that's
several
just
times.
Fucking stupid. Even bringing that
oh
up.
My goodness!
That's what minor league trolls do when they've been defeated.
Okay.
It's my original position. How can it be a straw man?
Okay.
That you tried to defeat for 30 pages and failed. I bent you to my will, and you admitted I was right.
You came on to this. The first okay, you had your chance to speak. The first comment you made after you made weight jokes and gay jokes about me was my original statement was that just because this guy
what was my
law
original
doesn't mean that his rights weren't violated in
Whoa, sunshine. Settle down. What was my original statement? Repeat it to me.
You said when you came on here that your position from the first page was that just because he broke the law doesn't mean his rights should be violated. That he has the right to be heard. That's what you said.
Are you saying they should? No, I didn't say his rights would be violated.
Oh my God. If you want, I could rewind the tape. That's literally what you said.
Wait a minute, Sunshine. You were wrong. Don't try and start this conversation off on ignorance and false fucking memory. What I said, I view his statement as a expression. No different than the Boston Tea Party. Now, tell me where I'm wrong in that statement.
It's way different. Is his expression different than a serial killer?
Well, no, don't bring up a serial killer.
Why?
Tell me what's wrong with my statement, period.
You're changing what your original argument was, but that's fine. I can tell you what's wrong with your statement.
They broke the law.
I get it. You need to constantly change the goalpost. I get it. Just because someone breaks the law and had a good message doesn't mean every time someone breaks the law, they have a good message. It doesn't mean that they're comparable. Other than the fact that everyone who breaks the law ever does have a message. That's just a fundamental truth. All action. Listen, just listen.
Said they had a message.
All action is communication. Everyone who has taken an action to break a law had a message. Every single person. So if your argument is everyone who's ever done anything is communicating, okay, I guess that's true. What does that prove anything?
Now, back to, you ranted for a while. I let you go. I didn't listen. But I didn't say he had a good message. I said he had a message.
Right. I literally just said, yes, you might as well have said people breathe oxygen. Yes, everyone has a message, regardless if they're breaking the law or not. That's true. That doesn't mean it's comparable to those that had a good message like the Boston Tea Party.
They're hard to hear.
Okay, I'll speak slow. I said yes.
You're the expert. I just figured out how to fucking live chat, and you sound like you're talking from underwater. Figure your shit out.
I'm sorry you can't keep up with me. I'll go slow.
No,
I
I can
said,
keep up with you.
listen,
Actually, I'm fucking 3 steps ahead of you
yeah, right.
every time.
Listen, you
The
made the point.
problem is I can't understand you
Maybe you
because you're
can't understand
span.
because you're constantly talking instead of listening.
Why? You've said everything already.
No.
I've heard it all.
You just said I couldn't understand you.
Repeatedly.
Now
And
you're
then
saying
on
I heard
top
it
of
all.
that,
You can't even be honest about something like this. What you did all through the thread, you'd say, too long, didn't read. I didn't even read it. And by the way, when you said X, oh, okay, then you clearly read
I didn't
it.
hear a
You
word
can't even
you
be
said,
honest
son.
about something like this. It's truly pathetic. Now, you're going to leave me make my point, which you claimed I couldn't hear or not? You couldn't hear or not?
Wait a minute. Let's check this again. You can understand me, right?
Yes.
What's wrong with your Commodore 64? How come you can't understand me?
I just said I could understand you.
Well, my bad. How come I can't understand you?
Maybe you have a problem with
my
your,
bad?
everyone. There are literally 11
64
people that I
was-
were talking to before you were on here that said that my audio was fine. So it must be a problem on your end. I don't know what else to tell you. Now, I'll speak very slow and tell you the point that you said you couldn't hear. It'll be real quick. You saying that he had a message, that's like saying people breathe oxygen. Of course, yes, everyone has a message, regardless if they break the law or not. That doesn't mean that it's comparable to the Boston Tea Party. The only thing comparable are both broke the law and both had a message. The quality of the message, the type of law they broke, their motivation for breaking it is all completely different.
But you said everybody has a message.
Right.
Doesn't matter which law they broke. You're saying if certain laws are broken, they don't deserve to be acknowledged. That's your position, dude, and it's wrong.
My position is
like what they have to say. Wait a minute. You might not like what they have to say. You might not like the circumstances, but they still have, I won't say right because you play word.
Okay.
But still have the reason to be acknowledged by people they want. There's plenty of people that got tired of seeing the Trump baby thing on there. They got tired of seeing Antifa beat people up in the fucking street. You know, every now and then there's time to fight back. I believe you played the video of Hoyt when he was talking about what he was going to do. And he said, for those of you that got the balls, that's your problem. You don't have the ball. You pretend you know, and you're definitive, you're righteous and protecting Trump and the First Amendment, but you do it sitting behind a microphone.
You're the first person who would cry if someone took their MAGA hat off your head. You'd say, "That's my right to free speech. How dare they censor me? I'm filing a lawsuit."
Did you see my thread? Did you see my thread where I went out to the Trump rally and confronted liberals?
No, I didn't. I didn't.
I got the balls to do shit like that.
That's not balls. If they took you or they assaulted you, you would whine to the police. Rightfully so, by the way.
No, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't.
Actually, I'd kick fucking ass.
Okay, so you would commit. Okay,
I knew I was okay doing that.
Okay, that's
would.
Fine. We know you're a big internet tough guy. We know. We got it. We got it. So if you got jumped by a bunch of people taking your hat, you would you would beat all of them up. You'd beat them all up because you're a big tough guy. You wouldn't ever get law enforcement.
Wait a minute. Did you see my thread where I actually backed what I told you right now? Did you see it?
Do you think people have a right to take
yes or no?
I said no. I haven't seen any of your videos.
But people like you aren't.
No, people like you are internet tough guys. You think because you're going out, I'll tell you what video I did see when you were mumbling under your breath. This person in front of me dislikes me. This person in front of me is hateful. Oh, how brave that was of you to follow behind someone and mumble under your breath. Very brave. Meanwhile, do you think that someone has a right to take a MAGA hat off your head? Do they have a right to do that? Do they have the right to take a MAGA hat off your head?
Did you see my thread? Yes or no?
I didn't see it, so just tell me if you think someone has the right to take a MAGA hat off your head.
Did you see my thread?
I've told you 7 times now. No, I did not see your thread. So will you just tell me if you think it's okay for someone to has the right to take a MAGA hat off your head?
Settle down, sunshine. Did you see my thread? Yes or no?
Yeah.
You can ask me 15 times and the answer is not going to change. No, I did not see your thread.
You never answered. Yes or no. It's one word either way.
I
Say
answered
it.
11 times now. No, I did not see your thread. So will you just answer me? Is it okay for someone to
There's
take your
how
MAGA hat off?
weak you are in your position. You can't even answer a straightforward question. Did you see my thread? Yes or no?
No.
Did you say no? I can't really hear all that.
Yes! You're so great! You're just a perfect, you're such a perfect just epitome of everything that's wrong with these people that think they're so intelligent. It's just absolutely fantastic. I say no 15 times, and then when I literally say it as deliberately as possible, you go, was that a no? Was that a no? Did you hear me say
You're
no?
settled
Did you
down.
hear me say no?
Decided
Did you hear
argument.
me say no? Did you hear me say
And
no? Did you hear me say no?
it
Did you
took
hear
us
me say
out.
no? Did you hear me say no? Did you hear me say no? Oh, that proves I'm right. You can't even answer a simple question. Woohoo! Man, this is
Boy,
fun.
I
This
hope
is a
the
great way to debate. This is great. I said no. Did you hear me say no? Oh, you can't even answer a simple question? Did you hear me say no? Oh, you can't answer a simple question? Oh, I thought you were some great debater. You can't even answer a simple question?
What?
Right. Right. You're blessed. You're a hoot, man. I got to give it to you. The thing that's great about you is you're not trolling. That's the best thing. You're totally serious about your insanity. You're totally serious. You come on and you say, my original position was that just because he broke the law, his rights shouldn't be violated. Then when we spend tons of time arguing he didn't have his rights violated, you say, okay, yeah, his rights weren't violated, but now you agree with me so that I'm right.
I've done to you exactly what I said I would.
Yeah, you've caused me a lot of joy. You've made yourself look foolish, and I enjoyed every minute of it. I really did.
Foolish.
Yes.
I heard that part.
Yes.
Where you
Yeah, it's been fantastic. You changed your position. You've admitted to changing your position several times. Now, anyone who's listening objectively would say this. So wait a minute. This guy admits, yeah, I admitted I was wrong several times, but says my position hasn't changed from page 1, and you agree with my position on change 1. Now, anyone with any kind of just objective listening to us would say, well, that's clearly nonsense. He admitted that he was wrong. So he didn't have the same position from page 1. And so I'm betting when people were disagreeing with him, they were disagreeing with his position on page 1. And then when he changed his position and said, now we agree, therefore I'm right, that's kind of delusional. That's not something normal people do. That's what objective people would think. But you think that as long as at the end of a discussion, you end up in agreement with your opponent, it doesn't matter if you were wrong the entire time and your opponent kept the exact same position. Because if you agree at the end, that proves you're somehow right. And then to buttress that, you think that doing things like, making insults and calling people sunshine and lamenting that your audio equipment, your hearing equipment isn't good enough somehow proves that you're right. And then the cherry on top is everyone pointing out, me pointing out how ridiculous this is. You think that that's somehow proof that you triggered me when I'm having a blast doing it. You're not triggering someone who's having fun.
Could you repeat that?
No.
I wasn't.
I'm good. I'm good. So, anything else to say?
Your position is that if someone breaks a law, any law, I look for the right words. You don't play games with it. But if someone breaks a law, any law, they don't have a right. Correct?
No, I've said over and over that's not my position at all. Not even close.
Correct. Then you agreed with me.
No, I'm not. Good. No, I'm not agreeing with you.
There's no if, ands, or buts. Only people losing in their position try to do that. And that's what you're doing.
No, you don't get to say yes or no. Your position isn't just that's not all your position is. Your position was his rights are being violated. He has a right to be heard. If he breaks the law, his right to be heard shouldn't be rejected. People have a right to listen to him. Those are all parts of your position. Me saying that If some guy like you
just
or me or anyone listening
with
wants to
me.
listen to Hoyt, it is well within their rights to listen to Hoyt. The government or anyone else shouldn't be saying, no, you don't have the right to listen to Hoyt because he broke the law. No one should say that. But if we don't have to listen to him. He doesn't have a right to be heard. No one suggested that he shouldn't have a right to be heard. No one suggested that.
Why is your position? You agreed with me.
No, that's not an agreement with you. That's not an agreement with you. You switching your position from saying he has a right to be heard to then saying, well, all I'm saying if people want to listen to him, they should be allowed, isn't me agreeing with you. That's you trying to agree with me because your original point was absurd. That's what that is. That's not now all of a sudden I'm agreeing with you. That's you agreeing with me. You're agreeing with the position I made.
I've heard all your crap before. So your position is if someone breaks a law, they're only allowed to be acknowledged sometimes.
My position is there's no such thing as them being allowed to be heard. No, it's not because the question. So your position is. So let me. Okay, real quick. I'll answer your question after you answer mine. Okay.
This is a
so your position is
in a corner and you make excuses.
So your position is because I'm the most handsome man in the world, I must always be right. Yes or no? Your position is because I'm the most handsome man in the world, I must always be right.
You and all three of your chins, you're hot, buddy.
Okay. Oh, you can't answer. You couldn't just say yes or no. Oh, then you proved I'm right. You couldn't answer just yes or no. Oh, that's proving that I'm right. When you make a statement, when your question is inherently flawed, there is no yes or no answer. What do you mean allowed to be heard? Define your terms. When you say, if they break the law, are they allowed to be heard only sometimes? Define what you mean allowed to be heard.
So my position's flawed. You need to pick one here. So if you break the law, your position is to be heard. Wait a minute, but if you break the law, your position to be heard. Pick one. Which is your choice?
So I have to choose either if you break the law, you should be heard, or if you break the law, you shouldn't be heard. I have to pick one of those.
Sure. Pick one. Let's hear it.
Now, I hope everyone hears how insane this is. Does everyone hear this? He says that breaking the law has nothing to do. You don't have to. My position is that an individual can decide to hear or listen to whoever they want, regardless if they broke the law or not. The false dichotomy of I have to pick, they either are heard all the time or they're either never heard is ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Well, then you should be able to.
Is your position that you always eat chocolate ice cream or you never eat chocolate ice cream? Which one is it? You have to choose one or the other. You can't eat it sometimes. You have to pick one or the other. Either you always eat chocolate ice cream or you never eat chocolate ice cream. And the normal person will say, well, that's absurd. Sometimes I feel like eating it. Sometimes I don't. No, you're skirting the question. That's what you're doing.
Can you answer? I ask you a straight question. Your position has to be one or the other.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
I doubt you have an honest bone in your body.
Do you always eat chocolate ice cream or never eat chocolate ice cream? If you have an honest bone in your body, you'll answer it.
I just exposed you again for what you are.
No, you didn't. You exposed yourself for being incredibly dense. I've answered your question 500 times. I can't make it more clear. Everyone can choose to listen to who they want, regardless if they've broken the law or not. It's that simple. I don't know what is difficult. What about those words? Don't you understand? Can you tell me what word it is? Everyone. Do you understand the word everyone? Can. Do you understand that one? Listen. You got that one, right? To. You got that one? Whoever. You got that word too, right? They.
Settle down. Move away.
Regardless of whether they broke the law or not. None of those words are very complicated. In fact, most people in elementary school could pick up quite clearly on what that sentence means. But somehow, you're having difficulty with it. You're having difficulty. You point people, no, they always have to be heard or they never have to be heard. That's your position. Now, if do you want me to rephrase your question for you so that it makes sense? Would you like that? How about this? Do you think if someone breaks the law, then no one should ever listen to them? No, I don't believe that. Was that satisfactory to you?
Okay, most kids in elementary school, when posed with this question, if someone breaks the law, be acknowledged or not, could answer distinctly with an honest opinion.
No, they couldn't. Most kids, I give kids credit for being smart that they would say, what does them breaking the law have to do with whether they should always be acknowledged or never be acknowledged?
Your problem is you're incapable of being honest because your ego's in the way and have you stuck in a corner. It's that fucking easy, sunshine.
Do you think that I should always be acknowledged or never be acknowledged?
Okay, let me ask you again.
Are you going to answer? I answered your question. Do you think I should always be acknowledged or never be acknowledged?
I'm not allowed to ask the question again.
Do you think I should always be acknowledged or never be acknowledged?
Without making excuses.
Why should I answer your questions over and over if you're unwilling to answer my question?
Making excuses.
You answer my question. You answer my question, and then I'll answer yours. Do you think I have the right to always be acknowledged or never be acknowledged?
Dude, I've owned you right here on this question.
You can't answer. You can't answer. You literally can't answer. It's a yes or no. You think I have the right to always be acknowledged?
Okay, I didn't hear any of that, but here we go again.
Do you think I have the right to always be acknowledged?
In a yes or no?
I'm not going to answer one of your questions because you are starting this. You know that you can't answer my question. You know that you can't answer my question, and so you're just ignoring it because you understand that my question proves that your question is absurd. You understand it. You understand that it's not a false dichotomy.
Shit, man.
Do you think I have the right to always be acknowledged?
You going to let me talk and finish?
Are you going to answer my question?
Hear it because you're spazzing out and screaming in the microphone.
I'll do it real slow, and I promise I'll answer your question immediately after you answer mine. I've answered tons of yours, so let me ask: do you think here you go. Here you are talking again. Here you are. You'll hear me better if you just. It's gonna be real quick. Do you think I have the right to always be acknowledged?
By the people that want to acknowledge you.
It's a simple yes or no answer. It's simple yes or no.
Straight up. Now it's my turn. I answered you.
Did you say yes or no? Did you say yes or no? Oh, so wait. So you acknowledge that the question I asked you can't be answered with just a yes or no. You say by the people that want to acknowledge you. That's almost the exact same answer I gave to you. That's almost the exact same answer I gave to you. And you said, how dare you not answer with a yes or no?
Settle down, spaz boy. I'll answer you. I'm honest.
Okay.
No. Okay. You don't always have the right to be acknowledged.
Okay, now.
But you have the
No, yes or no. Yes or no, it's fine. Now ask your question. No, it's fine. No, it's fine. No, it's fine. No, it's fine. Ask your question. No, it's fine. Ask your question. Go ahead. I promise I'll give you a yes or no answer. Go ahead. Ask your question.
Now it's my turn.
Sure. Ask your question.
Okay. Yep. I answered your question. Now it's my turn.
I agree. Let's go.
You ready?
Yep.
Okay. Damn, I half forgot it.
Right, it's your whole position. You don't even remember. Got it.
Okay. Are you saying that anyone that broke the law for any reason, position is null and void? It's not worth listening to by anyone.
No. That's what I said the entire time. I've said it. No.
There you have. You've denied my.
No, I haven't. You phrased the question differently that time. I could pull up on the thread. I could pull up on the thread at least 4 times. You asked me a version of that question, and I said no. I don't think someone. I literally just said it to you in my explanation before. People have the right to choose to listen to who they want. Just because they broke the law is irrelevant. If you think someone broke the law, but you still like what they have to say, you have every right to listen to them.
Yeah, stop
no,
right there.
Okay.
Stop right there. People have the right to listen to what they want or not.
Right.
Just because all is irrelevant. That's my position.
No, it wasn't.
That's
what your position became after 20 pages of arguing. That's what your position became. Your original position, as you admitted, as we could go back and check the video here, was that Hoyt's rights were being violated because he broke the law. Go ahead.
Tell me what my position is then. I just told you. My position is that people that broke the law have the right to be heard.
No, they don't have the right to be heard. I don't know.
Oh, God, you're going to play word.
It's not a word game.
People that broke, shut up. You're playing
People
word
can
games.
listen to them if they want.
People that broke the law have the ability to be acknowledged by people that want to hear their statement. Your turn.
Yeah, that wasn't your original statement. That's my only comment. You said what your we could rewind the video when you
keep trying to play word games with the right to be heard. Your big
You said his rights were violated.
Nobody has the right to be heard. That wasn't.
You said the reason we're focusing on you saying, listen to me. The reason people focused on the idea of the right to be heard was your position was his rights were violated because he had the right to be heard. That was your position. Then when you said, well, I acknowledge that I was wrong. Okay, that's not you winning an argument. That's you acknowledging you were wrong. And then you agree with people and say, aha, you agree with me, therefore I'm right. No, that's you admitting you were wrong. No one on that thread violated his rights.
Now you understand a bit of what you're saying.
You acknowledged your original, the reason people said, stop talking and you'll hear me. The reason people harped on the idea of you saying the right to be heard was your initial stance was his rights were violated. His First Amendment right was violated.
No. Show me that post where I said his rights were violated before page 20. I said it once in an shut up. I said it once in an offhanded manner, flippant reply about smidge. And as soon as you brought it up, I admitted I was wrong.
You did not. You
again. Your main point anyway. Shut up.
Don't tell me to shut up, or you can leave.
How that could be your main point.
You don't intimidate anyone. You're someone of such a low caliber that you don't have the right to make demands of anyone, let alone tell them to shut up. So I know you're triggered. I know you're a victim. I know you're a victim. I know you're a victim. People need to talk slow for you to understand. You don't get to tell me to shut up. You don't. Now, you said at the end of the evening that another user, whose name you've already mentioned, but I won't because that's not something I do.
Oh, sure it is. You've been trolling.
When did I out anyone's name? When did I out anyone's name? You told another user at 11:22 that they were a constitutionalist, but they were for the violation of this person's constitutional rights. Did you or did you not say that?
Sure I did. And if they deny it, shut up. Let me reply.
Don't tell me to shut up.
They didn't right to make a statement, they did violate his constitutional rights. And that was DC Cowboy. For my reply, he ran off.
Did you say that? Did you say that person was going against Hoyt's constitutional rights? At 11:22.
Yep. Sure as hell did. Later on in the thread, yes.
So now,
shut up. Let me answer your question.
If you tell me to shut up one more time, I'm not going to give you a chance to speak. Now, I'm giving you a chance to speak. You can say, let me talk. That's fine. Stop telling me to shut up. Now, go ahead.
Now, you've already made your point. Yes, because if he said he doesn't have the constitutional right to express himself, he is denying him of his constitutional right.
Show me where he said he didn't have the constitutional right to express himself.
Sure. Are you allowed to express yourself Wait, are you allowed to express yourself whether you commit a crime or not?
Yes. Show me where he said no. That your right to
Yes,
expression is gone.
You said yes. So if you say no, you are denying him his constitution.
He's allowed. Where everyone said no. On the entire thread, show me where one person said that he doesn't have the right to talk.
No, he said he doesn't have the right to express himself.
He said he doesn't have the right to destroy someone's property.
Page, I think it was 29.
Okay, I'll go to page 29. No problem. He said he doesn't have the right to destroy someone's personal property. That's what he said. Do you think he has that right?
Destroying someone's personal property,
yeah,
makes your constitutional right invalid.
No,
that's the whole question.
No. Does he have the right to destroy someone's personal property?
I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what he said. And yes, if you think because of a criminal action is petty as popping a balloon, deprives you of your First Amendment rights, wrong.
No one said that.
And you know
this is exactly.
You might
this
is admit it because I've got you so mad.
This is a microcosm of the entire conversation. No one ever said he should no longer have the right to free speech.
Dude,
they said he does not. The right to free speech does not apply to destroying someone's personal property. That's what he said. That's not saying if you commit vandalism, you should no longer have the right to speak.
The mic. I'd like to understand what you're saying.
No one said that if he commits a crime like vandalism or destruction of property, that he should lose his right to free speech. What they said was the right to free speech does not cover you destroying someone's personal property. Do you think the right to free speech covers?
What I said if someone, while expressing their position, breaks a law, should their right not be acknowledged, paraphrasing, because of the criminal action, yes or no? And he said, yes, their rights shouldn't be acknowledged. And that's wrong.
That's not what he said.
Later, I'm paraphrasing it. But yes, you know the question I've asked over and over, I put to you guys repeatedly through the thread until I made you admit I was right.
No one admitted you're right.
Wait,
let me quote what he said. What Hoyt did was that...
Shut up, fat boy.
No, I'm not going to shut up. This is what he said. You had your chance to speak. What Hoyt did was akin to censorship. I can't abide by that. Your counter speech you disagree with more speech, not less. Hoyt was wrong and is no better than Antifa.
That's the word you say, so you might as well shut up and hear me out.
I'm not going to shut up. I'm not going to hear you out until you stop telling me to shut up. I don't care. I don't care. No, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm not going to listen to you.
Shut up, pork chop.
I'm not going to listen to you. Your insults mean nothing to me. It's laughable. You can't even come up with good insults. You're unbelievably sad. You're just a sad person. And I have to admit, I feel a little guilty laughing at you. But I am laughing at you. Don't be mistaken. It's hilarious to me. It is absolutely hilarious. You think that because you make insults and you make demands to me, because you think you're some internet tough guy, that if 10 people took my MAGA hat off, I'd kick everyone's butt. Oh, yeah, we know. You're a very impressive person, as you've shown this whole time.
Dude.
You're brave. Unlike other people, you're out there doing the real stuff, like calmly mumbling behind someone walking 10 feet behind them like your impressive videos. Now, what that user said was, what he said was, what Hoyt did was akin to censorship. I can't abide by that. You counter speech you disagree with more speech, not less. Hoyt was wrong and is no better than Antifa morons who silence others with their acts of violence. He didn't say he doesn't have the right to the First Amendment. He said that destroying someone's property isn't your First Amendment right.
This reply. It's some funny shit.
Show me one time where that user or anyone on that entire thread said that Hoyt doesn't have the right to speak because of the crime he committed. Show me one place.
Reply. Yep. Look, everybody listen to this. I've tried, 9-10 times to get this statement in. Do you remember the reply I kept asking you?
There were a bunch. Please clarify, I guess.
Well, I kept asking you about, is it your position that if you break a law in order to express your statement, your opinion slash statement slash expression is not deserving to be acknowledged?
I said no. How is that responsive to what I'm
Right.
saying here?
That's my position. You said
You literally just said, listen,
positions
you said,
make one.
listen.
Why are you arguing? You
Because
agree.
did you or did you not say that a user was violating his constitutional rights?
I figured this would trigger you.
Did you or did you not say that one of those posters was violating this person's constitutional rights, was violating Hoyt's rights?
Yeah.
Okay,
I said,
you're wrong.
When,
they didn't.
Shut up. Do you want to let me or not?
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
Shut
Shut
up.
up. Shut up.
Sir.
Shut up. I know you have to feel like a tough guy telling people to shut up. You don't listen. You don't listen. That's the whole point. I'm not saying. Yes, I know you said, I was wrong. His rights weren't violated, but now you agree with me, so I'm right. I win the argument. You said someone violated his rights. Now prove it. What did that poster do to violate his rights?
What the fuck are you saying?
You said that poster violated his constitutional rights. What did that person do to violate Hoyt's rights?
Okay, is it my turn yet? Are you going to shut up?
No, I'm not going to shut up if you tell me to. You
I
think
said
you're a tough guy? You're not. You're not a tough guy. You're pathetic. Stop telling people to shut up. Stop trying to make insults. It doesn't do you any
you're
good.
You're going to hurt yourself, man. Check your blood pressure.
My blood pressure's fine, thank you.
Violated his constitutional rights because he didn't agree with you or me. He said no. He said yes. His
Show me
rights shouldn't be acknowledged. With me on it, that's been my position all along. When he disagreed, he was saying he violated.
Okay, give me 5 minutes. I got every single post from that poster up
or
here.
Are you going to agree
you tell
with
me
him
the one that he
me
said yes, that he violated his rights. Okay? I got every one of his posts up. You tell me when he violated his rights. Comment number 1. If the only way a person can express themselves is by breaking the law, then they are a flaming moron. Comment number 2. All Jesus see. If I stabbed a monkey at a local zoo and claimed it was akin to signing a Declaration of Independence, you aren't going to put me on the dollar bill. It's a false equivalency. Comment number 3. Now the balloon popper is Rosa Parks? Seriously, dude, you've gone off the deep end.
Dude, settle down. I haven't heard most of what you had to say.
Okay, I'll slow down. I'll slow down. Comment 4. Rosa Parks was protesting unjust laws. Dr. King was protesting unjust laws. Boston Tea Party was protesting unjust laws. Hoyt popped a balloon. Hoyt actually denied someone their First Amendment rights.
Okay. So you're defining just cause without knowing the future outcome.
That's not me. I'm just reading his quotes.
Stop
telling me to shut up.
Again, that's exactly the way the Boston Tea Party happened. When the incident happened, nobody knew what the outcome was going to be.
So that's the post you're saying that he violated his rights?
Sure. Can you see in the future to see what the outcome of Hoyt's actions could possibly be?
So the same could be said.
That's
okay. Fair enough. Yeah, yep. Okay, fair enough. So you're saying that's the post that then violated Hoyt's rights? That's the post, that one right there?
I didn't hear what you had to say.
I said you're saying that's the post right there that violated Hoyt's rights.
One more time, I missed that. Now I'm not being a smart ass.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. I said, are you saying that that's the post that violated Hoyt's constitutional rights?
No, I'm saying the opinion.
Okay, you're saying the opinion's wrong.
Shut up. Let me answer you. The poster's opinion equivalates to violating the poster's rights. I didn't say it did. I'm saying the opinion did.
Okay, so that was the post.
Yeah, the post that disagreed and you.
That post doesn't disagree with me. I agree with everything he said.
Sure.
That post doesn't come close
With
to
my
saying he
post.
doesn't have the right to free speech.
Wait,
This is exactly.
wait a minute.
So now everyone
you would
can
agree with my post and somebody else's post on the same subject. How do you do that? Do you take pills for it or something?
You go to. Do you want to hear the serious answer? I'll tell you. Did you know there's a little symbol you can click on under the name, and it could bring up every post in the thread from one particular.
No, actually, what it is, you're elusive, evasive, and you don't actually have an opinion because your ego.
No, sure, I have an opinion. I just read
The
a
hell
post
you
that just said.
You
I just
agreed
read a
with me
post.
and
I just
him.
read a post
They
that
were
someone said
polar
this guy's no Rosa Parks, and you said yes. That opinion's
You're-
violating Hoyt's constitutional rights. That's exactly what you were doing the whole thread. Not one person the entire time said that Hoyt doesn't have the right to speak. No one. And you kept saying, well, his First Amendment rights are being violated. Then when it was pointed out, you said, okay, I disagree. But then you go right back. You said that poster was suggested violating his constitutional rights.
Wait a minute.
No, it wasn't.
Whoa. You said Hoyt has the right to speak.
Yes.
Right to speak. That would imply people must be forced to listen.
No, it doesn't.
I'll play your.
See, do you see? Does everyone see how insane this is? No, you have the right to speak. People do
That's
not
the
have
game you
to be
played
forced
on
to
me.
listen. That's not.
Like
it doesn't
it
even. Your position here
bad.
doesn't even make sense. He has the right to speak. You don't have to be forced to listen. That's why. Remember, this is when I said, "Well, I have a YouTube channel. Do you listen to my YouTube channel, or are you violating my First Amendment rights?"
But he doesn't have the right to be heard. Is that your position?
The fact that you think that's funny is hilarious. Yes, that is exactly my position. That's why we're not agreeing. You do think he has the right to be heard.
Does Hoyt have the right to be heard?
No.
No. But he has the right to speak.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So if you speak to somebody, being heard, right?
This is incredible. This is incredible. This is actually incredible.
On you, dumbass.
You do not have to have someone listen to you in order to speak. I could shut this off right now and be in a room by myself and speak, and I'm still speaking even though no one hears me. So no, my right to speak is not contingent on other people hearing me at all. In fact,
when you speak, look it up. So yes, I just folded your stupid position back up.
So see, this is what I love. You said that your entire argument was, I'm not saying he has the right to be heard. I changed my position. I said that's not my position. And then you went back to it. And then you changed it. You said you're wrong. And now you've literally fallen right back on. You're saying that Hoyt has the right to he has the right to be heard.
I'm getting tired of all these wrongs. The only right is my first post that I made you agree with.
I did not agree with your first post. Your first post said that you said on this side, you are now claiming that he has the right to be heard. If you have the right to speak, that means you must have the right to be heard. Let me ask you, have you ever listened to my brother? Have you ever heard my brother? Why are you violating his First Amendment rights? He has the right to be heard, and you're not listening to him. He has the right to be heard. He has the right to speech. That means he has the right to be heard by you, right? Right? It makes sense. How can you speak if you're not forced to listen to him? How can that be?
You've been wrong every time, so
I'm not wrong. This is unbelievable stupidity. This is literally causal relations that children learn. I have the right to speak. You do not have the right to force someone to listen to you. You do not have the right to be heard. It's that simple. One is a personal right. You have the right to take some action. The right to be heard is forcing someone else to do something. You do not have that right. You do not have the right to be heard, period. The fact that you think that if you have the right to speak, that proves that you have the right to be heard is insane and is exactly why I wasn't agreeing with you the entire thread. And you kept saying, no, I changed my position. And then here we are again at 2:40 in the morning, and you're saying, yes, he has the right to be heard. Clearly he has the right to be heard if he has the right to speak. I mean, I don't know how to make it any clearer to you. Have you listened to all my YouTube channels? Have you listened to my YouTube channels, all of the videos?
Could you repeat that? I wasn't listening.
Have you listened to all of my YouTube videos?
Your YouTube videos?
Yes.
Why in the hell would I want to listen to them?
Why are you violating my First Amendment rights? I have the right to be heard. You should have to listen to my videos.
I don't care.
So you admit you're violating my First Amendment rights.
Have anything worthy of listening to anyway? Right.
And I think we could leave it there. I think that you've successfully you've made your point. Your end position is, yes, I'm violating your First Amendment by not listening to your YouTube video, but I don't care. That is an amazing position. And I thank you very much. I thank you so much for coming on here and just letting people see exactly the type of people that are out there that are filled with arrogance, filled with vitriol.
Listen till the end, period. But are you running away?
No, it's 2:45, and you've literally just made the argument that you're violating my rights by not listening to my YouTube video. I don't think there's much more to talk about. Do you want to stay on till 4? Do you need a friend? Is that what's going on? Is that what it is? Do you need someone? Do you need someone to talk to you late at night? Is that what's happening?
Shown by your ridiculous positions in our discussion.
You just said he has the right to be heard.
You
that free speech means that he has the right to be heard.
Devin was.
What's that?
Yeah.
You got till 3. I'll give you till 3 in the morning.
You've been on conspiracy forums forever, and you don't know who I'm talking about.
I didn't hear the name that you said, honestly.
That's what a fucking liar you are.
I didn't hear the name that you said.
I respect his opinion far more than I do yours.
Who?
And I don't respect his opinion one iota.
I didn't hear the name. Tell me. Who was it?
It is, you think this is over. You're going to fucking figure it out.
Figure what out?
Over weeks or months.
I'm not intimidated by your threats.
I already corrected your ignorance once.
You think
I'm going to hand you your ass, chump.
You mean verbally?
I won't start you, but I noticed you say a lot of stupid shit. I'm going to comment every time.
You're blocked on my YouTube channel, so good luck.
A living hell.
Day. You don't. I mean, your position is literally, and this is what I wanted people to see, that there are people out there like you that will make threats when you prove you're incredibly arrogant. You make points that even elementary school people can see. People understand. Elementary school people understand that you don't have the right to be heard. You constantly contradict yourself. You say, yes, I said he had a right to be heard. No, I changed my mind and said that was wrong. Yes, I said his constitutional rights were violated. No, I never said that. Well, intuitively, if he has the right to speak, obviously he has the right to be heard. And then when that's proven that you're wrong, when it's proven that you're wrong, you make insults and then you make threats that you're going to make my life a living hell. I'm not intimidated by you in the least bit. The reason I wanted to do this video was to show people that people like you are out there. And you're someone, by the way, who supports Trump, which I do. So by no means am I just going after the left. There are people like you that are literally crazy on both sides of the aisle. Your positions are untenable. You're literally making arguments. Even when you take the factual nature of the arguments out of it, you're literally contradicting yourself within minutes. You're saying, no, I'm not saying his rights were violated. Of course I'm saying his rights were violated. No, I'm not saying you have a right to be heard. Of course he has a right to be heard. Oh, you're fat. Oh, you're like Michael Moore. Oh, I'll make your life a living hell. I'm going to post over the next couple months. You say a lot of dumb stuff and I'll prove you wrong. Like it's totally irrational. It's actually the behavior of someone that has some sort of mental condition. And I am now regretting laughing at you in the sense that it isn't right to laugh at people that have mental deficiencies like you. And you do need to seek help. It's not just that you need to seek help because you're just factually incorrect. And you do need a civics course. You do need to talk to someone who can help you understand what your rights are and what the First Amendment is and what the Bill of Rights are. You do need that course. That's something that you should seek out and try to attain. But more than that, you need some kind of psychosis help. And I hope that you're put on some sort of proper medication.
Dude,
but I just want to let
did
you know
you
that
get
despite
drink?
all that, despite all of my, and I truly do have goodwill to you, and I hope that you get the medical help that you need. But despite all that, I'm not intimidated in the least bit by your threats. I'm really not. I don't think that you're original or uniquely funny. I'm not intimidated that you could do anything to me intellectually. I'm not worried that you'll do like you did earlier today and talk about my genitals or call me a coward on the YouTube post. Though I do think that maybe that's another problem. You did seem to want to
Good
talk a lot
night.
about my
Have a good
genitals
talk.
and my possible sex life. That is something that you wanted to talk about. So there could be some sexual repression going on. And I know I'm kind of a good looking guy. I know that that might be appealing to you. And you want me to talk to you late into the night because you do need someone close to you. You do need a friend and things like that. I understand that that's something
Are
you
you
need because you think that you're a perpetual victim. And you think when people correctly point out that you're grossly misinterpreting things like the First Amendment or that you're constantly shifting your position, that that's them ganging up on you. But no, not really. That was people that actually were mostly trying to have a serious conversation with you and saying you're wrong. Sure,
are
there's a little bit
you
of snarkiness in there, but I'll be honest, I think most people came away feeling bad for you. They thought that it was
online?
ridiculous that you
You
thought
admit
that someone saying, hey, he's no Rosa Parks was violating their constitutional rights. So you could say what you want. You could say that you're going to follow me around and that you're going to make my life a living hell. That's fine. I'm not going to report you to anyone. I'm not that type of person. And I know that you also think you're a tough guy and that you think that you're somehow braver than other people. But that's not bravery. That's stupidity is what it is. Going out and basically forcing your opinion on people when you're grossly wrong like you are isn't someone that's benefiting anyone. In fact, the cause that you think you're benefiting, the ideas that you're defending, whether it be you disgusted with like the Antifa types and with a lot of the SJWs that you think are going after Trump, I'm with you. I don't like those causes either, but you're actually, the only side you're really causing detriment to is the side that you think you're defending, which are conservatives, constitutionalists, people that defend Trump, because you're going out there and you look like that you represent the rest of us, and we're not like you. We're not people that make insults. We're not homophobes
Are you
that attack people,
yeah,
or we're not people that think that you have to scream shut up to people all the time. We're not people that are so uneducated that we believe, well, if you have the right to speak, clearly you have the right to be heard. We're not people that change our positions from second to second like you do. That's not what most of us are about. Most of us are very inclusive. I personally don't care what someone's religious, sexual preference, where their country of origin from. None of that matters to me. I'm concerned with ideas and people's thoughts and things like that. Your thoughts make you kind of a despicable person, but I understand it's because you have some sort of medical deficiency. I understand that. So I really
yes,
do want you to get the help. I really do. I think it's something that you really need to do. And so, I'll be looking out for you. If you need the name of a doctor or something, please just let me know. I'd be more than happy to help put you in touch with someone. So, I guess I'll give you a chance to speak here real quick. Oh, you don't have anything to say. Okay. That's fine. That's totally fine. I understand. I hope that you're absorbing a lot of this. Real quick,
dude.
would you like to say anything real quick?
You agreed with me.
I didn't agree with you. It's funny that you think that. That's more indicativeness of your psychosis.
Sure
I didn't agree with you. I made it quite clear that I think, even though I think that anyone who wants to listen to someone should be able to listen to them. That's fine. I agree with that. I totally disagree with your opinion that someone has a right to be heard, a position that you denied and then accepted and then denied and then accepted, then denied and then accepted, and you ended admitting, yes, if someone has the right to speak, doesn't that mean they have a right to be heard? No, it doesn't mean that whatsoever. I don't have to listen to anyone. That's compelling someone else to do something. The Constitution, the reason that the United States is the greatest country in the world is we're founded on the idea of the individual and personal liberty. And we tried to codify laws that said that basically you're allowed to do what you want without government interference until you harm someone else. You're saying that the right to be heard is something that exists if you have the right to speak, but it's not, because that's compelling someone else to do something. And our founding fathers weren't interested in that. Neither were people like Rosa Parks or the Boston Tea Party or any of them. They weren't interested in the idea that someone else has to be forced to listen to me. They wanted things like freedom of speech and freedom of religion so they could basically worship on their own. That's the antithesis of saying other people should be forced to listen to you. So it's cute that you think I agreed with you, but I couldn't more emphatically disagree with you.
Quit repeating yourself. Everybody's heard this bullshit.
Okay, you're free to leave anytime you want, but I'll talk as much as I want. I think that I was handling things
Slow
pretty simply.
down.
Saying is that you
Step
started
away
this
from
conversation
me.
with insults to me,
And
calling me a homosexual, making disparaging remarks, saying that I apparently have sex with a boyfriend or things like that. Then you were making fun of my weight and saying things of that nature. You've done so even before this. I was still generous enough to give you an opportunity to speak, even though you were making those kind of personal attacks, because I really didn't care, and it doesn't bother me that much. I make better jokes about myself than you were making. But despite me giving you that chance and allowing and having a conversation, even if we had our ups and downs throughout, when you start saying, I'll make your life a living hell, blah, 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 I'm not going to treat you with
dude,
respect because you haven't deserved respect. So if you don't like me talking as
you
much or as
agreed
fast as I want, you're free to leave. You could
my
leave right
name,
now. I'm going to kick you off here in a minute anyway. So I just want to make it
but
clear that I
make it
know you think that people agree with you, but they don't. They disagree with you emphatically. You
you
literally ended this conversation saying, if people have the right to speak, then that must mean they have a right to be heard. No, that's not true. They don't have that right. I couldn't disagree with you more. That was the same type of comments you were making the entire way through the thread. That's why so many people are disagreeing. Again, I asked you over and over in this conversation and on that thread, can you show me one time where anyone said that this person, because of the crime they committed, no longer has the right to free speech? You were unable to do so. I even directly, you said this poster, he's the one who said that. I said, okay, let me read the post he made. You tell me which one violated Hoyt's constitutional rights. You said, yes, that one, where he said Rosa Parks, where you said that this guy was no Rosa Parks. That's the one that violated his constitutional rights. That's what you said, because his opinion about that violated Hoyt's constitutional rights. That's what you said. And then I started to say, wait, that's crazy. What are you talking about? Wait, so are you saying that people have the right to speak? Yes, I am saying people have the right to speak. Well, then that must mean they have the right to be heard. I've destroyed your argument. No, that doesn't destroy the argument. That's laughably incorrect. It's unbelievable. You don't understand simple causation. You don't understand that. I don't know. Do you need me to draw you a Venn diagram or something to show here's your right to speak and here's people that hear you? The people that hear you could be in the bubble of you speaking, or they could be out of the bubble. They don't have to listen to you. You do not have the right to be heard. It's that simple. But the fact that you think, not only that you've changed your position 100 times, but that you really think that you have a winning argument because you've somehow came to the unbelievably brilliant conclusion that if someone has a right to speak, they have the right to be heard. Then when I point out how absurd that is, what do? You say, I'll make your life a living hell. That's very impressive, very intimidating coming from you. You got anything more to say?
Three words in.
That's it? You good? Okay.
I'll make fun of you on a thread. I
Take it
didn't
easy,
listen
man.
to
Hey, take it easy.
You're like,
I hear you're done talking. Take it easy. There you have it, folks. I can't see the comments here, so I hope people heard that, but that's what I'm talking about. Now, I've no doubt I'm going to have to find a way to block him because he'll call me back like 50 times here. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Now, what was the point of this? Why did I do this? One, I like debating. Second, I did think it was fair, even though he was insulting me, to try to give him a chance to explain himself. But when literally the first thing, I don't know if you can hear him, the first thing he was saying when he came in was like, oh, you're performing such and such an act on your boyfriend, blah, 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 you're fat. Like, how am I supposed to then take that seriously? I think that this was a great example of the craziness you see. I hope this illustrates, by no means am I a partisan that's unwilling to call out people that are on, quote, my side of the issue. I think that people like him are more dangerous than the average Democrat voter. It's extremists like that on both sides that are incredibly harmful to us being able to have a civil discussion, let alone, who knows? I mean, that's someone who sounds like he's off his rocker enough that he could try to do something damaging to me in some way, whether it just be doxing or something like that. But I don't care. I'm not going to back away because there are people like that. That's someone who, by the way, agreed with me on most of the stuff I would be posting because he's a Trump supporter. So, it is what it is, but you can see how insane he is from his question. It's not just the rudeness, it's not just the threats. It's also the idea that he literally could bounce, and I say this in the most sincerity. I know people like this in real life. I had a conversation with a person once that went like this. I happen to be a Pittsburgh Pirate fan. I said, this person said to me, hey, the Pirates starting pitcher one of their starting pitchers. They need to get rid of him because, his curveball sucks. Or it was because he doesn't throw a fast enough fastball. And I was like, yeah, but he's got a good curveball. And his ERA is like only a 3.3, which for the Pirates at the time was really good. We argued for a half an hour about this, and when we finally got to our destination, the person's response was, so yeah, why would you want to get rid of that pitcher? He has an awesome curveball and his ERA is low. And I said, no, that's my point. That's what I was arguing. Oh, right, that's what you were arguing. That's what I've said the whole time. That's scary. That's scary that there are people out there that are like that. This person, he admitted, the first thing he said in here was he had the right to be heard. I said, no, if you would look at that thread, if anyone's from ATS, they could see in that thread. I wasn't mean or anything. I was very cordial. I just said, no, doesn't have the right to be heard. If people want to listen to him, they can. And he kept insisting his First Amendment rights were violated. I said, who? Who's violated his rights? He posted something that said, someone said, I think that his opinion is null and void because in expressing it, he damaged someone's personal property. I said, okay, that person has the right to say, I no longer respect or want to hear your opinion because you've committed a crime. That's fine. That's not a violation of the First Amendment. I posted the First Amendment. And then that's when I started to realize that something was a little off because this person claimed I was ganging up on them and making fun of them for their dyslexia, which couldn't have been further from the truth. I was being very polite. And from there he said, of course, I never said that it was a right. And I was like, yes, you did. Here's what you said. And he said, okay, I admit I was wrong. And I was like, okay. And then I kind of backed down. And he started saying, ha, I beat you. You didn't respond. Last night at 2:45, he said, ha, I posted at 2:45, and I know you were still up, but you didn't respond to me, and that proves I'm right. And I've never been beaten, he said. So I started I thought that maybe he was trolling. I started going back, was like, oh, I'm I was doing the Hulk Hogan. I was like, all my little robomaniacs out there know that I'm unbeaten, when it comes to this. And so he's just going back and forth, and he's getting crazier and crazier. And he keeps wanting me to go to a, quote, troll forum, because then he can really tell me what's up. And I was like, dude, if you really want to talk about it, we can talk about it. And the rest is history. At first, this was at about 5 o'clock. He said, sure, let's do a video. I said, okay, at night, 11 o'clock, I get off work. He said, okay, sounds good. And then he backed out. Then I'm sleeping. He gets in touch with me at 12:30 and says, basically, oh, you're a coward if you don't do this video with me. Let's do it in 10 minutes. I said, okay. Took him a while to get on. And the rest is history. That's what you see. That's kind of the unhinged nature of some people out there. So I hope that it's been informative. I don't know that I handled myself the best, but I assure you I wasn't triggered. I was actually having a lot of fun. I'm still having fun thinking about it. But it is a vice of mine. I take great pleasure in people that are that arrogant and that wrong, and just pointing out how ridiculous their stance is. I have no pleasure whatsoever in the average person, that maybe doesn't know. Like, for example, I don't know anything about cars. If I'm talking to someone about cars, I don't want them to spike the ball on me and be like, oh, you don't even know what kind of transmission goes in that car. No, I don't. I'm totally an idiot. Most people intuitively dumb it down for you. I happen to be smart about some things, and I'm really stupid about other things. And I understand most of the people I talk to in my life, they're not looking at politics as much as me. So I'm not bragging or saying, I think what they do with their lives is usually far more important than what I do with my life. So by no means do I think that I'm better than people. And don't think that I treat people and deal with them the same way as I dealt with this character, which, by the way, I'm not going to release his email. I'm not going to give his real name or anything like that. I thought that despite his threats to me, I will do no such thing to him. I will not dox him. I will not follow him around or anything like he's threatening to do to me. It's just not going to happen. I hope that I handled myself well enough that people listening, I can't see people's comments because my computer screwed up a little, but I hope it was entertaining, and I hope that people think that I handled myself kind of well. And it was tough to get through with all this shut up and screaming and insults and things like that, but hopefully it was entertaining. So if anyone has any comments on this, leave them in the chat or leave them in the message below, and I'll try to get to them at some point. But honestly, it's 3 o'clock. It's time for bed for me, so Look forward for me to do more live streams. If someone's interested in doing a stream with me that's not a complete psycho, I would be interested in doing that. I love talking to people. I promise. You look at all the other videos I did with conversations with people, I've never insulted them or treated them poorly in any way whatsoever. I just felt that that character that came in with the type of insults he was making had it coming to him. So, but I assure you, even if you vastly disagree with me, I would not be mean-spirited to you in any way. I do believe in civil discourse. I believe in responding with necessary force, and I felt the tone and the nature of what that guy was saying, the necessary force was to give it back to him in my own way. So I hope everyone liked this. I'll be putting out more videos as time goes on. And thanks everyone so much, and have a good one.